Hey, Dr. Matt here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So today we're talking about alternative milks, non-dairy things for your latte. They're all the rage these days. Most coffee shops have at least 2 dairy alternatives, if not 4 to 6. We're talking, hemp milk, almond milk, soy milk, coconut milk, rice milk, cashew milk, macadamia nut milk, oat milk. Yes, oat milk. It's kind of like a new player on the block. It's been around for a little bit, but it's gaining in popularity. Starbucks, they now carry Oatly, right? And my first thought when I heard of oat milk, though I've never had an oat milk latte at Starbucks, haven't been there in years, was that, wow, oat milk, great thing. My local coffee shop, I'm gonna get some an oat milk latte. Okay, sounds good. I don't generally drink cow's milk. And so oat would be a great alternatives. Cow's milk just generally gives me phlegm. Plus, usually when you go to these kind of places, coffee shops, it's usually ultra-pasturized, homogenized, a version I wouldn't want to be consuming on a regular basis, which most coffee shops carry. So coffee shops, man, let's see if we can find a non-homogenized, low-pasteurized version to start carrying. But then, so I took a look at the ingredients on oat milk. That's what I want to talk about today is oat milk. And namely the Oatly oat milk. And you know what? I was blown away. And not in a good blown away kind of way. I thought, what can we do to oats? Oats, they're easy, right? But wow. The sweet creamy nectar, that it does look pretty creamy when you make oat milk lattes, it is loaded with rapeseed, particularly this Oatly brand oat milk. The second ingredient after oats and water concoction is rapeseed oil. And rapeseed oil, this is a massive vegetable oil, inflammatory conductor, just like a total irritant to our being, to our nerve cells, to our cell membranes. And it's the number 2 ingredient. And secondly, to add insult to injury when it comes to this Oatly, it's not organic. And we know that non-organic oats, actually even many organic oats, if we don't keep that company's fuel to the fire or feet to the fire and make sure they are checking for this, that they are loaded with glyphosate. And glyphosate is this chemical irritant that people are suing all the time for different disease conditions, because when it comes with its buddies, its pesticide buddies, in these grains, that they can activate a carcinogenic pathway in our body. They can promote cancer in our body. As well as being destructive to our gut lining. So that's a double whammy right there, folks. A double whammy: carcinogens, gut lining destruction. In fact, many food researchers argue that gluten is not nearly the problem it would make it out to be. That in fact, many people, it's not the gluten that they're responding to; it's the glyphosate that is present essentially wherever you would find gluten. In a food, in a grain mostly, it's the glyphosate that's the problem. It's not the gluten. So, glyphosate, it's just torture. It is torture to the human being. It's a massive promoter of autoimmunity. If you have autoimmune conditions, you have arthritis, you have eczema, digestive distress, glyphosate. If you're eating a lot of glyphosate-containing foods, basically ultra-processed grains, then get them out. Get them out. And then number 3, related to this oat milk, this Oatly, and virtually most oat milks, is that you're literally drinking liquid carbohydrates. Even though the added sugar content may be 0, this is literally liquid carb. There's so many carbohydrates in oat milk, so you can have added sugars that are lower or 0, but there is an enormous amount of naturally occurring carbohydrates in oats. They are a grain, right? But the fibers and the complex nature of the carbohydrates that can make, say, oatmeal filling or still cut oats really filling for us, they've been completely devoured and broken down to create milk from oats. And this turns into just this tsunami of a blood sugar surge and an insulin spike, which it's like fat around the tummy right there. Sugar goes up, insulin goes up, we pack on the pounds. So we have a highly inflammatory vegetable oil in the rapeseed, at a dose that literally is comparable to a medium fry say for McDonald's or whatever fast food restaurant, you no longer participate in. As well as we got this glyphosate, which is a pesticide that wreaks havoc, literally wrecks our insides, and destroys natural resources all over the place. And number 3, we have this bolus of liquid carbohydrates that is going to send our glucose spiking, our insulin soaring, which is destructive to fat metabolism, and our desire likely to maintain or gain a lean body composition. We're basically almost making it impossible if we're regularly drinking oat milk, because we're drinking liquid carbohydrates. It's like drinking juice or Capri-Sun. So oat milk, until somebody shows up and shows me a different or a way of making it more efficient, better, not containing these things, I would have a really challenging time recommending anybody use it as a dairy alternative when you're consuming your coffee to make that delicious latte. And I know this is challenging, for many who are sensitive to dairy. The reason you would even go to oat milk in the first place, because dairy makes you feel terrible. And you're just looking for a healthy alternative. So if you are that person, maybe consider looking at A2 dairy milk, see if that works out for you, or goat milk or one of these other alternatives. Because outside of oat milk, it sounds healthy, but the inside story, it's totally different. When you start actually looking at what is going on, what are they putting in, how are they processing, totally different story. And it's kind of funny because I would say actually probably it's kind of unfortunate, but Oatly states in their marketing slogan that they're trying to upgrade our healthy lives. But in reality, unfortunately, and they may not even know this, and they may not even understand this. They're just trying to make something that's creamy and delicious, and is different than dairy. But I really hope they can figure out a different way of making and creating oat milk that is going out to the masses. Millions of people are drinking this now if it's at Starbucks, because right now it's got this trifecta of irritation for the human body. Plant-based eating and drinking, it's great idea, fantastic, but only this is the caveat, only when plant-based eating consists of whole fruit, whole vegetables, whole sprouted grains, nuts, seeds in their whole form. When you start tearing them apart and using little pieces of vegetables and nuts and seeds and that kind of thing, especially when we talk about oils, the value of these depreciates insanely fast, faster than your car you just drove off the car parking lot that you just bought. These plant oils, they just can't handle the heat, they can't handle the pressure that animal-based fats can handle, and they break down, they oxidize, they make our cell membranes old and rigid, and unable to communicate effectively and adapt to new things. And if our cell membranes can't communicate, man, that is a ticked off body, that is a stressed out body, that is a body that's heading toward diabetes, heading toward Alzheimer's, dementia, all that. So we can't do that, right? We can't do that. What can we do? Fantastic question. One is, if you're not dairy sensitive, then hey, maybe get dairy instead of the oat milk, or find a place that uses goat milk. Maybe I make your own lattes at home. Goat milk would be my personal favorite, and yes, it tastes different, but if you allow the flavor to grow on you, it will win you over. And I would say, so as far as the best dairy alternatives, I would go with coconut milk. I'm talking real coconut milk, not the watered down stuff that comes in the cartons, but the real stuff that says coconut as the only ingredient in the ingredient list there. Especially the Roy Day, that stuff's so creamy. I'm not sure how they spin that stuff, but man, that stuff is so creamy, delicious. Second in line would be like a hemp milk. You got to make sure the amount of added sugar content is pretty minor. But hemp milk, it's got good fats, good sugar. I mean, not good sugars, but good protein content compared to most. And then macadamia nut milk would be a good alternative. If you go with almond milk, you got to make sure it's organic, because almonds are just loaded with pesticides if they aren't. And you just got to make sure that any of these you decide to choose from, make sure they're free of sunflower, safflower, canola, rapeseed, soy, corn oil, all those vegetable oils. And maybe even consider, decreasing the total volume of milk product you're using in your coffee or your espresso shots to help yourself out. Because literally organic coffee, it has so many benefits for so many people. But all this extra sauce that gets put in there, all this extra interesting processed jargon that we put into our coffee, it rages against our good health. So let me know your favorite coffee, your favorite espresso additions, the things that you say, man, these things make my coffee that much better, and they are accumulating health in my being as well. Because we want these things that we do on a daily basis, or potentially, maybe you could do coffee multiple times a day. There's no way I could do that. I'd be in the hospital because I can't handle caffeine. But maybe you can. And you want those cups all to be supporting your health, your vigor, your vitality, your health accumulation, right? So tell your friends, like this, share this, subscribe. That way we can get this to as many humans as possible that are amazing people who want to know what the truth is. That's the bottom line. We just want people to know what the truth is, and then they can make the decision from there. But it really stinks if you're somebody who's health conscious, trying to make health conscious decisions for yourself and for your family, and you're getting hit by this marketing jargon and not realizing the decision you're making, the effort you're putting out, it actually isn't in the best interest of your family. It's like, that's the worst. So I'm Dr. Matt. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.